Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome as we start another day of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours since the last time we had the opportunity to spend a little time with you roughly 24 hours or so ago. Boy, speaking of 24-hour span, what a difference a day makes, right? Governor John Bel Edwards yesterday announcing the relaxing of the remaining COVID-19 regulations that are still on the books in Louisiana. Now, let me hasten to add that while the governor, quote, removed the remaining regulations, restrictions, if you will, that comes with a caveat. The caveat in this particular instance pertains to certain institutions that will be given the leeway, the freedom, if you will, to determine what, if any, restrictions will remain. For example, students wearing masks at schools and universities will ultimately now be determined by the local educational districts or the colleges themselves before the start of the next class session. The health order that was updated this week is arguably the largest single step toward normalcy since restrictions were placed on this country back in March of 2020. It is something that has been a long time in coming. And based upon what we've witnessed happen in a number of states. It is going to be a while before the entire country obviously reaches this point. As a matter of fact, there are still spots in the country where lockdowns are pretty much the order of the day. Fortunately, for us here in Louisiana, that is no longer the rule. And again, there are obviously exceptions to every rule. Masks will still be required where they are mandated by federal law. Public transit, also, the same will apply there. And healthcare facilities, things of that nature, the governor has allowed them the freedom to still be able to decide whether or not masks are mandated. Now, for his part, speaking of masks, the governor says that he is still encouraging the wearing of masks, but businesses and local government now given the freedom to create separate, specific mask orders. It is, I guess, a part of the resumption of normalcy, and I guess it's to be expected that while the governor, for his part, has lowered the restrictions statewide with the, quote, freedom for individual municipalities, businesses, institutions to still be able to implement their own mandates, it's going to be a hodgepodge of restrictions. Don't be surprised in the least if you travel someplace outside of your home city to, I don't know, go and catch a meal, go and take in a fair or a festival or whatever your travels may entail, that you find out, whoa, wait a minute, the restrictions here are not the same as they are in my home city. That is going to probably be the case for quite some time. So I would imagine while, and I'm in this number, by the way, while the natural inclination is to call up all your neighbors, light up the barbecue pit, and invite them all to come over with their masks and have a mask burning party, you might want to put that on hold for just a little while. Because again, there are going to be instances where you'll find yourself saying, well, wait a minute, I thought we didn't have to do this anymore. Well, the governor has given individual entities, institutions, municipalities the right to dictate what they feel is best in their particular arena, and there is a distinct possibility it will be different from what officials where you live think is best. So, bottom line, make it a point when traveling, and listen, I get it. I know that it is something that we are rapidly trying to put behind us. It is something that, with all the other problems in your life, the last thing you want to have to think about is, because I'm going to Iberville, because I'm traveling today to Ascension, to Bienville, wherever, I need to check what the mask mandates are there before I go, because I don't want any, quote, problems involved with my trip there. I get it. I understand full well it's an inconvenience. But at the end of the day, to make things easier for you and yours, then it's just something that you, in all likelihood, will want to keep locked away in the back of your mind. It is a day we've all been looking forward to. However, let me hasten to add, if you are a realist, it is impossible not to envision a scenario where we find ourselves right back in the same situation again. We've heard from any number of, quote, experts that there is the distinct possibility that you will see a return of the virus come fall. We've already been told by individuals that, yeah, we're glad you got the shot, but there's a distinct possibility you might need a booster shot 6 months to a year from now. So to think that, it's all in the rearview mirror, quite frankly, I don't think that's realistic. It is what it is, guys and girls. And before all is said and done, I'm not a betting man. Y'all know this. I work too hard for my money to lose it on a game of chance. I'm not a betting man. But I will take odds on this. We have in no way, shape, or form seen, heard, or experienced the last of COVID-19. And let's be honest about this. We're all grown. We're all adults here. We family, in the words of the late Bernie Mac. There are any number of individuals out there that found themselves in positions of power and limiting freedoms and liberties of Americans. And it's addictive. It's just real talk, y'all. It's addictive. There are individuals out there that have never had this sort of power to control individuals in their lives. And to think that they are readily going to just give that up is probably as unrealistic an exercise in thinking as you will ever encounter. My bottom line suggestion is that you do what you feel is best for you and yours. At the end of the day, I saw something the other day that really struck me, and I'd never thought about it in these terms before. We as Americans have become so lazy in our thinking that most of us have no idea what the experts say about any given thing. Well, Clarence, how can you say that? I know what they tell me. You don't know what the experts say. You know what the media tells you what experts you should believe. You don't really know what they say. You know what CNN tells you what expert you should believe. At the end of the day, I guess there's something to be said about the human experience and taking the path of least resistance. But at the end of the day, the supposed benefit of living in the information age is that you, as an individual, gather as much information from as many different sources as possible and then make up your own mind. Of course, now, again, we as humans, and particularly in America these days, we tend to gravitate toward the path of least resistance. If they tell us something that sounds good, if they tell us something that we want to hear, then that's the end of it. We take it lock, stock, and barrel. Problem is, when you do that, there is a distinct possibility that you will give up liberties and freedoms that we hold dear in this country. And how many times have you heard me say, freedoms and liberties encroached upon by government are seldom, if ever, returned intact. So all of you folks out there running around want to jump on the socialism bandwagon, all you Bernie bros, remember, once those freedoms, once those liberties are taken away, good luck getting them back. Just saying. Just saying. First break of today's show. I'm going to talk about some things going on at the Louisiana legislature that may well affect you. That's up next on the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Team Honda wants to thank you for once again making us Louisiana's #1 new car dealer by offering you never-before-seen savings. For the first time ever, get 0% financing up to 60 months on some of your favorite Honda models. Get thousands in savings right now at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. If you are an individual that watches trends across the length and breadth of this grand republic of ours, you know that typically things run in cycles. And it's just a matter of time when something happens in certain size municipalities, and it ends up catching on and spreading to other municipalities across the country. It is maybe, just off the top of my head, best exemplified with the changing attitudes of lawmakers, due, I will hasten to add, in large part to the generation of revenue. And of course, we all know that politicians have never met a revenue stream that they didn't like or were willing to embrace. But I digress. When places like Colorado, Oregon, California, New York, others start to embrace certain movements, typically it's just a matter of time before other municipalities start looking at embracing the same thing. You can chalk it up to cash-strapped governments. You can chalk it up to being sheeple. You can chalk it up to a nationwide awakening. I will leave to you to decide which best fits the marijuana argument. Here in Louisiana, with the advent of this most recent legislative session, I think there were more bills introduced in this session to deal with the decriminalization and the monetization of marijuana than in recent memory. As a matter of fact, a bill to lessen the penalties for small amounts of marijuana is heading potentially for its final debate. Cedric Glover from North Louisiana in the Shreveport area is the author of the bill, and it is one of the few bills centering on the decrim of marijuana that's left standing in this session that, by the way, has support from both sides of the aisle. Representative Glover, quote, "I think this is reflective of a collective effort on the part of all of us who are looking to advance this issue. I don't think we'd be here right now in the posture that we're in had it not been for the fact that Representative Candace Newell and Representative Richard Nelson offered their legislation, started this conversation, got us going back and forth as a body collectively. I will be the first to admit if a total decriminalization of small amounts of marijuana happens this session, or for that matter in the very next session, I will be as surprised as anyone. There is and has been a reluctance in the, quote, Bible Belt to embrace many things that others across the country have readily embraced. At the end of the day, you will always have the argument. How is it that alcohol that kills tens of thousands of people every year, either through drunk driving or liver conditions or whatever, how is it that that is a legal product when marijuana is not? You will hear that argument ad nauseum. It is an argument as old as legislation itself. And personally, I don't see that argument being resolved anytime soon. What we do need to come to grips with in our state particularly, and well, for that matter, now that I think about it, in our nation, because the United States of America incarcerates more of its own citizens than any other industrialized country on earth. And when you look at the number of individuals in our state and in our nation that have felony records because of nothing more than smoking a joint, it's something that we really seriously need to take another look at. It may best be summed up by a statement I heard a gentleman make once, and I wish I could remember his name so that I could attribute it to him. But in paraphrasing what he said, jail should be for people that we're scared of, not people we're mad at. Think about that. Jail should be for people we're scared of, not people we're mad at. It's one thing to be mad at someone because, I don't believe in smoking that stuff. It's one thing to be mad at someone, I don't like alcohol in my house. It is something else entirely to encounter an individual that has murdered 5 people and at the drop of a hat may murder 5 more. Those are the people that we need to make absolutely certain we have jail space for. Those are the individuals we need to be absolutely certain that we reserve space in prison for. And at the end of the day, if we find ourselves unable to incarcerate rapists, robbers, murderers, embezzlers, whatever, only because we don't have space for the guys or girls that were smoking weed, something is wrong with our priorities. You follow me? At the end of the day, we have to have priorities. And East Baton Rouge is a perfect example. Not so very long ago, the voters here had the opportunity to vote on whether or not they wanted a new parish prison. No, we got enough taxes already. No, that's all right. So we voted it down. Sadly, now we find ourselves in a crunch as far as needing space to house individuals that we're scared of, not individuals that we're mad at. At the end of the day, it all comes down to priorities. And let's be honest about this, y'all. Again, we're all adults here. We're grown folk here. And we engage in real talk. At the end of the day, and you've heard me say this before, point out to me something particularly the federal government has engaged in a war on that they've been wildly successful with. War on poverty. Nope. War on alcohol. Prohibition. Nope. War on illegal immigration. God, no. War on drugs. Not in the least. If you are honest with yourselves, and if you know anyone that has kids in middle school, they'll tell you, oh, I can tell you where to get some right now. It is the reality of the day. Now, I know what you're saying. I can hear you through the TV. Clarence, I know your parents taught you 2 wrongs don't make a right. I get that. But at the end of the day, we still have to deal with priorities. And quite frankly, bottom line, jail should be for people we're scared of, not people that we're mad at. We will keep an eye on this legislation as it continues to work its way through the legislative process. We've seen already Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport, 3 of the 5 major metros in our state that have already taken action of some sort to lessen the penalties for small amounts of marijuana and recreational use. Whether or not that ends up as a statewide mandate, only time will tell. We'll keep an eye on it and see where it goes. I will tell you that as soon as the legislature figures out how to monetize the stream, it's going to go away completely. Nothing fosters change in laws like being able to monetize something. I'm not saying it's good or bad, right or wrong, fair or unfair. I am simply pointing out the reality of the matter. Prohibition, alcohol, we tried it. Didn't work. But what did we do? We figured out a way where governments could make money from it. And ever since then, Americans, once again, were able to belly up to the bar. It's experience. It is what it is. Bottom of the hour break. We'll get her done. Speaking of government, got some whoppers for you when we come back as we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
termites. Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, if I were given a magic wand, one of those that you could fix anything in government, but you could only wave it one time. Y'all should see Alan off camera just now. You can only wave that puppy one time. What would you fix? Magic wand to fix anything in government, but you can only wave it one time. What would you fix? You got the answer, Alan? What would you fix? Obey and follow the Constitution. I like that one. Supposedly, allegedly, allegedly, Bill Frida just chimed in. That's already a law. Allegedly. 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 Probably running neck and neck with that for me would probably be getting folks that are elected to serve to understand two things. One, you are elected to serve, not appointed to rule. And additionally, get out of the bubble. I think a huge part of the problem, particularly with the federal government, and for that matter, to a little lesser degree, those that hold statewide offices, is that they live in an echo chamber. They are surrounded by individuals 24/7 that have nothing in common with the people they are elected to serve. But maybe more important, they are surrounded by people who only tell them what they think they want to hear. There is a huge difference between telling someone what they want to hear and telling someone what they need to hear. For example, this past weekend in Chicago, 42 people wounded, 13 people killed. That's just in a 3-day span, Friday to Sunday. That's not including the other 4 days of the week. Meanwhile, as the left continues to push the defund the police narrative, crime in Democrat-run cities is exploding. It's it's scary when you look at the increases in homicides and violent crime in cities across America. The National Fraternal Order of Police, in conjunction with a number of other law enforcement agencies and polling organizations, showed us recently homicides in Chicago up 22%. In Los Angeles County, 127% increase. In Minneapolis, 113% increase. In Oakland, California, 132% increase. And in Portland, Oregon, surprise, surprise, 800% increase. Now, here's the rub. Here's what happens when, as an elected official, you live in the bubble, the echo chamber, and you're surrounded by people that only tell you what they think you want to hear. With all the money being thrown around by Congress and the Biden White House, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, how much of this have you heard being spent to help everyday Americans in cities where homicide and crime is exploding? Of the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars being spent on infrastructure, how much have you heard being spent to ensure the safety of everyday Americans, surprise, that live in Democrat-controlled cities, which are arguably the most loyal part of your base? How many dollars have you heard of? Meanwhile, here's the real rub. Meanwhile, January 6th rolls around. We have the situation at the Capitol. So what has happened since then? Well, last week, Congress voted for an additional $1.9 billion for security at the Capitol. Keep in mind, no one from Congress was killed. The only person killed was a protester killed by Capitol Police. Okay? Nobody died. But in Chicago, so far this year, 240 people murdered. How many additional dollars did they, or resources have they allocated to help those folks? Nada. But Congress gets $1.9 billion for their own security. Can you say totally, completely out of touch with everyday Americans? And yet, y'all still vote for these people. Living in abject fear in your own freaking neighborhoods. Scared behind boarded up, burglar bar encrusted homes and apartments. No relief. What are you told? Well, defund the police. Well, I guess in hindsight now that I think about it, I guess they do want to defund the police. Where is this $1.9 billion in extra security at the Capitol going to come from? Oh, wait, that's right. We just printed up. $1.9 billion just for the Capitol. Meanwhile, 22% in homicide increase in Chicago, 127% increase in LA County, 113% increase in Minneapolis, 132% increase in Oakland, 800% increase in Portland, and not a freaking dollar. Can you say, let them eat cake? Of course now, it really shouldn't surprise you all that much because we have clowns the like of AOC running around in the halls of Congress. Same woman who, in an interview this week, says that because of January 6th, Congress people have, quote, effectively served in war. Excuse me? You heard me right. Congress has effectively served in war. Can you imagine if a conservative had said that? I cannot begin to think how big an apology this woman owes to the men and women of our military. The men and women who in Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea, both world wars go down the list, watched their fellow patriots in arms get limbs blown off. Watch IEDs take out their fellow service members. Watch as fellow prisoners of war were tortured to death. This woman has the unmitigated gall to compare what happened at the Capitol January 6th to our men and women that have gone to battle and watched their fellow members in arms lose their lives. Guess there's something to be said about what they teach you at bartending school. If Democrats don't, and this is this is an exercise in rhetoric because we all know it's not going to happen. If this woman does not issue a serious apology to the men and women of the finest fighting force on this planet, that should tell you everything you need to know. How many of us have parents who still wake up with chills and a cold sweat because of what they witnessed in war? How many Wounded Warrior Project commercials do we watch of men and women with limbs gone? Nobody died. And yes, it was a blot. Yes, it was something that none of us as Americans ever wanted or hoped or thought we would see. But for her to draw a comparison between what happened then and what happened in the jungles of Vietnam, I need to go to commercial break before I say something I'm going to be sorry about. Final break of today's show. We'll come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
We're making 2021 the year of savings, and it starts right now at Team Toyota. Come get a new 21 Corolla for just $189 a month, or get a 20 Camry for just $19,995. It's a year full of savings starting right now, right here at Team Toyota.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Y'all already know that I'm this big fan of adages. And the older one becomes, the more you start to appreciate the validity of all these old sayings. When you're young and you think you know it all, when in actuality you don't know a darn thing, but because you're so young, you're too stupid to realize what you don't know. You hear these things and you take them with a grain of salt. It's the old factor, okay? But if God blesses you to stick around long enough, you start to see the wisdom behind all these old adages. One of them happens to be the best laid plans of mice and men do often go awry. Bill, you're a scholar. Who do we attribute that saying to? The best laid plans of mice and men do often go awry. Was that Shakespeare?
It was.
I thought it was, but I can't remember.
I think it's from
Hamlet. Okay. I thought Shakespeare, but I couldn't remember exactly which one. Enter this big push now towards electric vehicles. And of course, the Biden administration has embraced this push to save the planet wholeheartedly. It never fails, y'all. Every single time you come up with this new push for something, invariably you're going to encounter things that, I didn't think about that before I started all this. The whole, and before I finish this thought, I got to share this with you. Y'all do realize this ain't new. It occurred to me the other night, Marty. All the stuff we see now, save the planet, racism, this, that, and the other, these are all retreads. This is all old hippie stuff from the 60s. You realize that, right? Everything you see now, this isn't new. They are simply rehashing the hippies from the 60s. Think about it. That's your homework for tonight. The old, speaking of adages, there's nothing new under the sun. None of this is new. Go back to the 60s and look, and you will see every freaking thing they're trying to shove down our throats now. It's the same crap from the 60s. It's the hippies revisited all over again. And one could very easily make the argument, we're looking now at the children and grandchildren of the hippies who have simply passed this along to them. But I digress. The environmentalist movement is pushing progressives, liberals, Democrats to save the planet. And of course, the Biden administration, in a rush to embrace this, has painted themselves into a corner. When running for the presidency, we were told we're going to buy American. We're going to bring pride back to America. By God, we're going to buy everything that government needs. We're going to make sure, first and foremost, that we buy it from Americans. Well, you didn't apparently have that conversation with the environmentalist wackos. Because now, did you see this week, where the Biden administration is reversing course now because the environmentalists don't want them drilling, mining for all the metals and the things you're going to need to produce these electric vehicles. They don't want them digging this stuff up, mining it, manufacturing it in America. So for the 50 most important metals, we're going to have to import them from other countries. Not only does that mean we're going to have to pay more for them, it also means these are mining, manufacturing jobs in this country that this administration will kill. Of course, now, it's not like they don't have experience in this regard. Very first day in office, what did he do? Cancel the Keystone XL pipeline. Thousands of American jobs gone. So I guess we really shouldn't be all that surprised that he caves in to the environmentalist and is not going to let the 50 most important metals be mined in this country. But, hey, we're inclusive, we're transparent, and we're going to buy American. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Now, let me say for the record, if you pay attention to politics at all, you already know that there's a clearly defined pattern here. Tell you one thing, do something else. We've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. How long you been voting? Yep, that's how long we've seen it. Tell you one thing, do something else entirely. And at the end of the day, at some point, we kind of keep hoping that Americans would wake the hell up. Can't blame old boy for trying, I guess. It is now complete. Darren Gaucher has graced us with his presence. So if you've not come to 10655 Coursey Boulevard, well, it's your own fault. You are truly missing a treat because you're not enjoying the warm, gracious service from the staff here at Bayou Smokehouse, but you are also missing out on the wit and the wisdom of one Darren Gaucher. Great to see you, brother. Good to see you again. It is a place that honors you because you decided to spend your hard-earned money with them. I know for a lot of you, that's a foreign concept. There are a lot of places you can go to today. There are a lot of places you will go today. And you leave feeling, I'm so happy they did me a favor by allowing me to spend my money there. If that's okay with you, I ain't mad at you. Have at it. But if you're one of those that says, you know what? Those folks truly appreciate me coming and spending my hard-earned money. Well, 10655 Coursey Boulevard is where you need to be. Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. Oh, by the way, Uncle Roy is coming in today, right, for the podcast? Allegedly. Back to that all over again. Yeah. Roy Fletcher's podcast will be done live. Bill Profita will be hosting it. Darren Gaucher running all the particulars. So come on by. They'd love to see you. This day, probably more so than any other, you know what? I give it to you. You're right. America, we are in no way, shape, or form perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.